the only thing missing to configure in our admin panel is our order screen. And first, before we start to configure our order screen, we need the method in our cart where we can send those orders to our server. Because we didn't configure yet the confirmation of our order, so the completion of each order, we will do it now. So we can add just a bunch of products and come here to our cart, and then we proceed with the checkout. We can put our datas here, so we can say London, we say Westminster, and again London, and the zip code can give just any zip code, and then for our country we will select the UK, so down here United Kingdom, and then we press confirm. Then we select bank transfer and just confirm. Now we have our order here, but this method still doesn't work because we need to configure a method for it. So back to our cart, in our checkout method, in our confirm screen. We will now finish this confirm order method that we pass in our button here. So this place order button, we will trigger this function here. And for that, first we need to import our methods to handle the API calls. And the first one that we will import will be the toast, so we can alert the user. And so this comes from React Native toast message. Next one, we will import the Axios, so we'll import Axios from Axios. And finally, we will import our base URL. So from our assets folder, we'll need this URL to make our call to the server. So if you remember, we have this in our assets and common, and we have the base URL. Next up, we go to our component, to our confirm component, where we'll save our route parameters in some variable. If you remember, we pass the route parameters in our checkout page as order. So the orders that we have in our cart will pass through the components, through the route parameters. And for that, we come here and we have to save it in a variable. So we can call it const final order. And then we say props route params. So now we have our route parameter stored in this variable, and we can make use of it inside of our method. So let's do that. Inside of our const, we can just set the variable order as final order. So our route parameters, that comes from order. And then we have our Axios call. So we say Axios, and will be a post request, and again our backtick and the $sign with our base URL. Then we have this route in our backend that we call it orders. So then we can save in a separate collection in our database. And then we also need to pass our order object. That is here, that comes from final order. That is the entirety of this data that we see here. And then we need to handle this data. So we'll get a response, and we say if the response status is 200 or the response status is 201, we will show our toast, and our toast will be similar as we did before. So we'll have a top offset of 60. Then the type in this case will be success if everything goes correctly. Then we can set our text 1 to order completed and our text 2 as empty, so we can have also that space there. And then after that we have to set our timeout, so we can just cut this from here and paste it after our toast. So after our toast we'll have the set timeout inside of our if block, so if everything goes correctly we also clear our cart and send us back to the cart page. And finally we just need to have our catch block where we can catch our error. So say catch error, and then we have the same toast, so we can copy and paste it, and will also be a top set of 60. The type will be the error, and we can just say something went wrong, and again we say please try again. So like this now we can send some orders to our database through our server and we can save it, and now we can just place the order, and it's giving us an error because I forgot to delete these route parameters here. So now we can just delete these route parameters that was left from our previous lectures, and here where we have the confirm we have to call it as final order and do the same for all these methods. So final order, final order, also the same here. And so now we can try again, and we just do place order, and the order is completed. And if we go and check in our database, in our orders, we have one document with our order that we did. So we have the status pending, and this status we will use it in our order screens in admin panel. We have our correct address and also the total price. Now we can continue and configure our admin panel in our order screens, where we can see all the orders and also change the status of that order with the 3 levels we created in our backend.